Hello and welcome to Bottom Line. Well, Assam is clearly heading towards an exciting assembly elections with the three major parties already engaged in garnering support for themselves amid a bitter war of words between the rivals. While the BJP is consistently targeting the Congress for its proposed alliance with the AIUDF, the Badruddin Ajmal-led party is in no mood to be on the defensive and is openly urging those from the minority community to denounce the BJP, terming the Saffron Party as a threat to their very existence. And as all this continues, we have some aggressive campaigning going on in the Bodo Territorial Region, the BTR, which will go to council polls in just over 15 days' time. If the intensity of campaigning in BTR is any indication of things to come, the run-up to the ensuing assembly elections in Assam is all set to be one filled with uncertainties, of course, allegations and counter-allegations, and the run-up is certain to throw up unexpected scenarios. To discuss more on this, I'm being joined by Congress spokesperson from Assam Congress spokesperson Gaurav Somani, who is joining me from Guwahati. In the studios, we have BJP spokesperson Pramod Swami and political analyst Avinav Barbara. Very warm welcome to all of you. If I can come to Gaurav Somani of the Congress first. Well, all said and done, first to begin with, we are staring at a very exciting elections. Very exciting polls. Already the tempo is set, isn't it, Gaurav?
Yeah, very much, very much.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Navru, we are all set for the 21 elections, and this is elections we have been really waiting for. We have lot many things and lot many agendas to take and go in the public, and people have realized that the development agenda of the BJP has gone for a toss. And the expectations and the hopes with which these people of Assam voted this government to power, they have realized that they have been cheated, whether you take it on the investment front, whether you take it on the employment front, whether you take it on development sector, whether you take it on the communal harmony in the state, you take it in any index. So they have realized, and they have realized, and I feel we are ready for this 21 elections, and we'll go with the agenda of development. We'll go with the agenda of overall growth of the state, which we have seen that in the last 5 years, the growth rate of the state has gone towards down. And you compare it in many index, only the problems have been seen by the people of Assam in the last 4.5 years. So this is the high time. People have realized what they have done 4.5 years back, and they are ready for the 21 elections. It is not the political parties who are ready for the 21 elections, let me tell you. It is the people of Assam, and the public in general are really ready. And I'm very sure this time they'll make a right choice. And this is up to our political parties how we take it, the agendas of our choice to the in the people. And let's see how it goes ahead.
We'll get into more on this. Pramod Swamiji, lot at stake for everyone, including the ruling BJP.
देखिए, इसमें ऐसा है कि हम जो चुनाव इस बार जो लड़ेंगे वो विकास हमारा मुद्दा होगा, और विकास के मुद्दे को लेकर के हम जनता के बीच में जाएंगे। तो जब हम विकास की बात करते हैं तो 13 फाइनेंस कमीशन में यूपीए सरकार ने 79,741 करोड़ रुपया अलॉट किया था। नहीं, मैं एक पॉइंट आपको
हम आएंगे। मैं जानना चाहता हूँ, isn't a lot at stake? ये एक बहुत बड़ा चुनाव होगा बीजेपी के लिए भी, a lot at stake, won't you agree?
नहीं,
of course we'll come to this. We'll get a lot of opportunities to get into these figures. I'm sure your friend from the Congress will also have a lot of questions for you.
डेफिनेटली हर चुनाव जो होता है वो किसी भी राजनीतिक दल के लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण होता है, और आसाम जो है वो नॉर्थ ईस्ट का गेटवे है। तो आसाम का चुनाव बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है, और आपने देखा होगा कि 2016 के चुनाव में जब हमने आसाम में सफलता प्राप्त की तो उसके बाद में नॉर्थ ईस्ट में पूरी भारतीय जनता पार्टी और भारतीय जनता पार्टी के मित्र दलों की सरकार बनी है। तो आसाम का चुनाव बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है, तो और इस चुनाव को हम बहुत ही शिद्दत से इस चुनाव को हम लड़ेंगे, और विकास के मुद्दे पर चुनाव को लड़ेंगे। और हमारी जो टीम आसाम है, माननीय मुख्यमंत्री श्री सर्बानंद सोनोवाल के नेतृत्व में, नेडा कन्वीनर और असम सरकार के मंत्री श्री हेमंत बिश्व शर्मा जी के नेतृत्व में, और हमारे पार्टी के अध्यक्ष श्री रंजीत कुमार दास जी जो संगठन को पिष्टा प्रमुख तक लेकर गए हैं, इस त्रिमूर्ति के नेतृत्व में हम चुनाव लड़ेंगे और 2021 में हमें जनता का जनादेश मिलेगा, ऐसा हमारा मानना है।
Avinav Borbora, your first impression of the ongoing developments. The tempo is already set. There is a bitter war of words already between the BJP on one side and the Congress AIUDF on the other. What are your expectations in the run-up to the polls? Of course, we still have to remember that the newer parties, the new regional parties, are yet to make an entry, so to say. Of course, they have been formed, but they are yet to start their campaigns in a way. So that will be more exciting. But as of now, as we speak, it's the BJP and the Congress AIUDF.
I think you are quite right. If you follow the political parties, at least the principal political parties closely, you can find out from their body language that they have basically begun preparing for the contest that would be held in the spring of next year. Now, the 2021 election is crucial. It is crucial for both the parties in two significant ways. For the Congress, of course, it's a fight for existence. Already, absolutely, as you can see, there are a number of regional parties that have come up, and these parties, if they make an advance, they would basically be eating into the space of the Congress party. But from the perspective of the BJP, and also in a general sense, 2021 is crucial for another reason. If the BJP manages to cling on to power and return to form government for a second time, this would be the first time in the history of independent Assam that a non-Congress government has managed to get a pro-incumbency mandate. If you see, a non-Congress government in Assam has been formed on 3 occasions: 78 when Gulab Borbora becomes the chief minister, 85 as well as in 96. But in none of these occasions could these parties manage to get a pro-incumbency mandate. Today, the BJP, in my opinion, is quite well placed to come back to power if the trend continues like that and if the Congress is not able to actually revamp itself. We were talking about the car protests, and the APCC president has been reaching out to different parties supporting the car. And it seems as if the Congress would make the car issue as one of the main planks of its election agenda. But the 2019 elections were held when the car protests were at its peak.
Absolutely.
Now, I'll just share a simple figure out here. In 2016, if I am not mistaken, the BJP secured around 60 seats. In 2019, at the peak of the car protests, the BJP could secure a lead in 67 assembly constituencies at a time when apparently there was a big, massive movement against the ruling government. If you today look at the spread of the BJP, you see that the kind of spread that the party has, it's extremely secular minus the Muslims. Apart from the Muslims, it has made a secular inroad across. So for the Congress, I would hope that they have a well-placed strategy. There are a lot of weaknesses of the BJP. It is about its ability to actually bring them to the public purview and foster a kind of a campaign that allows them to successfully tackle the BJP. Otherwise, the stage looks quite set for the BJP's return to power again.
Gaurav Someni, you have history on your side, as Avinav Borbora just pointed out. You have history on your side, but will that be enough to wrest power from the BJP, which is not doing pretty bad, irrespective of whatever you would like to believe?
On our history. History is gone. That is only the thing to be discussed and make the glory out of it. We cannot bet on our history. We need to bet on what we are going to serve and what we are going to deliver to the people of Assam. They have seen the last 15 years, the 15 years tenure of the Congress government. It was a well-placed government, a secular government, a well-developed agenda with a fully developed agenda, development of Assam, investments-oriented agenda, employment-oriented agenda. And see, people are very clever, people are very smart. You cannot fool the people all the time. And before the elections, we come up with lot many agendas, with lot many promises. Yes, we lost the elections. It was maybe there were many reasons behind it. But yes, we are not betting on our history, and we have a concrete agenda, and that is the agenda of the development. That is the agenda of the all-round growth of the state of Assam. That is the secular agenda. That is the communal harmony we need to build up amongst all the communities residing in Assam. And there are various agendas we have to go and back on it. But I still feel the way the present state government has carried the things and the affairs of the state government has been carried forward, I think the people of Assam have realized what mistake they have done. And it is quite evident. See, there were many chances now, around almost 2 years is pending. They are not in a position to hold the municipal elections. Throughout the Assam, municipal elections are due. Because even they have realized, they have the intelligence report, they know the ground reports. And that is why they have been deferring this elections time and again due to certain reasons. And probably 6 months have gone with COVID and all those things. But again, we are waiting that we can have a municipal elections. If we can have BTC elections, I help this government from your studio. Why don't you declare municipal elections throughout Assam? And let's see who wins, who loses. So there are many things. Government is not able to take that risk. Government is not able to put that stake on
But again,
on such elections.
Gaurav Somani, the question that the BJP has been raising time and again is, if the Congress is so confident of its development agenda, why has it been forced to have an alliance with the AIUDF, or for that matter, a Mahagathbandhan? You want an alliance of all like-minded parties against the BJP. Is it because you know Congress alone is not capable at this moment of taking on the mighty BJP, quote unquote?
Oh, come on. Yeah. It's about mighty BJP. Let me tell you, is BJP alone capable of taking the Congress party? Yes or no? Is BJP alone capable to take the Congress party? Yes or no? Fine. You got the answer. So see, you have to understand the demography or the population pattern of the state. You cannot be fool and going to the elections and losing the elections. It has to be a coalition government. We have invited people, we have invited parties, we have invited social organizations. Come on, let's be together, a non-BJP alliance. And we cannot, at this stage, we cannot afford to share the votes. We cannot afford to divide the votes. And at one juncture, you may lose elections by 2,000 votes, 3,000 votes, 500 votes. So this is a very crucial election. Apart from the development agenda, you have to understand the demography of the state also and the population pattern of the state. And that is why we do not want to take any risk. Yes, development is our foremost agenda, number one top agenda, and we'll go with that agenda. And it is up to the people of the Assam and the public who has to decide what they have to vote for, which party they have to vote for. But we are very confident the way now the party has taken things into the public forum, the way we are taking up the BJP's entire corruption trawl, recruitment of the sub-inspector, so the Advantage Assam, Brahmaputra, Namami Brahmaputra, all these taking out to be a farce. No fresh investments coming to Assam, unemployment at the top level, industries are shutting down. So everything is going into a collapse. No, the entire economy is collapsed. It is only they see the Vikas, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas in only news studios. They will say 11th Finance Commission had this much fund for the Assam. This commission had this much finance for the Assam. I just want to raise one point. Boss, if you really are concerned with the people of Assam, just clear the GST dues which are pending, and which is the GST dues, which is the share of the Assam from the central government. Forget about the finance commission. You just clear the GST dues, which is in tunes of crores and crores of rupees, which the people of Assam needs right now. There is the entire coffer, it's empty. So forget about all these big blah blah things and all those things. Let's talk to the point, and let's talk to the development agenda. What you have done in 4.5 years, tell the public, and what you are going to do, tell the public. Forget about Hindu-Muslim agenda and all those agenda and taking the entire conversation into an entire election campaign into a communal agenda, because they have understood they do not have any development agenda. They, at this juncture, they should have been telling us what they have done, what they have promised before coming to the power, and what they have delivered in 4.5 years. So instead of that, they have been busy scheduling themselves, busy giving the statements like communal harmony, which can they destroy the communal harmony, Hindu agenda, Muslim agenda, this agenda, those agenda, and they have many power centers.
Pramod Swami, I know
what I would say.
Yeah, Pramod Swami, I know you want to respond to this, but before that, before you come to the development part, I would like to ask you, the Congress says it is confident of its development agenda, but again, एक तरफ कांग्रेस कह रही है कि हम डेवलपमेंट के मुद्दे पे चुनाव लड़ रहे हैं और दूसरी तरफ एआईयूडीएफ के साथ गठबंधन भी कर रही है, इसे एक नेसेसिटी बता रही है। ये क्या बताती है कांग्रेस के बारे में?
देखिए,
मैं
मैं दो बातें कहना चाहूँगा यहाँ। एक तो जब कांग्रेस की सरकार थी तो 13 फाइनेंस कमीशन में उन्होंने 79,741 करोड़ दिए और 14 फाइनेंस कमीशन में हमने 1,55,292 करोड़ रुपए अलॉट किए। इससे पता चलता है कि हमारी प्रतिबद्धता क्या है। दूसरी, जब हम डेवलपमेंट की बात करते हैं तो सबसे जो जरूरी चीज़ होती है वो सड़कों का निर्माण। तो मोदी गवर्नमेंट आने के बाद में नॉर्थ ईस्ट में जो 8 स्टेट्स है वहाँ 2,731 किलोमीटर सड़कों का निर्माण किया गया, जबकि 2014 से 19 के बीच में यूपीए की सरकार ने मात्र 1,779 मतलब 1,080 किलोमीटर सड़कों का उन्होंने निर्माण किया था। और इसमें हमने 2,731 किलोमीटर का निर्माण किया है, जिसमें सिर्फ आसाम में 1,011 किलोमीटर का निर्माण हुआ है। अब दूसरी बात मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि इन्होंने कहा कि सेक्युलरिज्म की बात, तो ये सेक्युलरिज्म कैसा सेक्युलरिज्म है मेरे को थोड़ा समझ में नहीं आ रहा इनका सेक्युलरिज्म। हम बात करते हैं सर्वधर्म समभाव की और ये बात करते हैं सेक्युलरिज्म की, लेकिन इनका सेक्युलरिज्म बड़ा विचित्र है। जो घोर हिंदुत्व में विश्वास रखने वाली पार्टी थी, आज शिवसेना के साथ मिलकर के ये महाराष्ट्र में सरकार चला रहे हैं, तो वहाँ कौन सा ये इनका सेक्युलरिज्म, जो आज तक ये शिवसेना का विरोध कर रहे थे सत्ता के लिए, उन्होंने सेक्युलरिज्म वहाँ छोड़ दिया। यहाँ सन 2012-13 में जब माननीय मुख्यमंत्री 11 में जब मुख्यमंत्री थे आपको तरुण गोगोई साहब, तो उन्होंने कहा था हुई बदरुद्दीन, आज बदरुद्दीन साहब से आपने हाथ मिला लिया। तो ये आपका कौन सा सेक्युलरिज्म है, ये थोड़ा हमें समझ में नहीं आ रहा। लेकिन जहां तक आप हिंदू मुस्लिम की बात करते हैं तो हम हिंदू मुस्लिम की बात नहीं करते। नरेंद्र मोदी जी की आप स्पीच निकाल के सुनिए, उन्होंने बिल्कुल स्पष्ट शब्दों में इस बात को कहा है कि हिंदू मुस्लिम को आपस में नहीं लड़ना है, हमको मिलकर के गरीबी से लड़ना है। लेकिन आपके पास में कोई एजेंडा नहीं है, न कोई नीति है, न कोई रणनीति है और न आपकी नीयत अच्छी है। तो आपके पास में आपके नेताओं के बयान जो है, आज मियां म्यूजियम की बात तो बीजेपी की तरफ से नहीं उठी। आज जो वाजिद अली चौधरी साहब ने जो कहा कि हमको एआईयूडीएफ से हम गठबंधन करेंगे और हमें अपर असम के बाद वोट नहीं चाहिए, ये बात तो बीजेपी की तरफ से नहीं उठी। आपके नेता इस तरह के बयान देते हैं और जब हम उनको कहते हैं कि नहीं भैया ये सोच सही नहीं है, सर्वधर्म समभाव की हम बात करते हैं, तो आपको तकलीफ होती है। हमें वो तुष्टिकरण वाला और अपीसमेंट वाला जो आपका जो सेक्युलरिज्म है वो हमें मंजूर नहीं है। तो ये आइडियोलॉजिकल डिफरेंस है, मैं ये बता रहा हूं, ये विचारधारा की लड़ाई है। एक विचारधारा भारतीय जनता पार्टी और उनके मित्र दलों की है, जिसमें असम गण परिषद और छोटे राजनीतिक दल है, और दूसरी विचारधारा है कांग्रेस की, जिनके साथ एआईयूडीएफ है। तो अब यह जनता तय करेगी कि वो किस विचारधारा के साथ जाएगी। उनका सेक्युलरिज्म जो है वो अपीजमेंट का सेक्युलरिज्म है, और हमारी जो बात है वो जस्टिस टू ऑल अपीजमेंट ऑफ नन की बात है। हमारी जो बात है वो वसुधैव कुटुंबकम की बात है। हमारी जो बात है सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे भवन्तु निरामय की बात है। हमारी जो बात है एकम सत्य विप्रा बहुधा वदंती की बात है। तो इनके पास में न तो कोई नीति है, न कोई रणनीति है, न कोई नियत है, और नेतृत्व आज देखिए राहुल गांधी का जो नेतृत्व है पूरे देश में लोग नकार चुके हैं। आज आसाम में कांग्रेस पार्टी विभक्त है। एक गौरव गोगोई का कैंप है और एक प्रद्युम्न बरदोले का कैंप है। तो ये विभक्त रूप से बटी हुई पार्टी हताशाग्रस्त होकर के इनके नेता ही हिंदू मुस्लिम की बात करते हैं, हम नहीं करते। तो आप अगर आपको अगर लुंगी से इतना ही प्रेम है तो उसको राजीव भवन में रख लीजिए ना गौरव भाई, उसको श्रीमंत शंकरदेव कला क्षेत्र में रखने की तो हम इजाजत नहीं देंगे ना।
We have lost the connection with Gaurav Somani. Abhinav Barbara, the Congress may be talking of the development agenda here, but the moment it ties up with the AIUDF, does it also not find itself in a sticky wicket to defend itself at a time when it is accusing the BJP of being communal, especially after the number of statements that have come in the recent times from AIUDF chief Badruddin Ajmal, who has kind of it's called creating fear psychosis among the people from the minority community, that if the BJP comes to power, this will happen to you, that will happen to you, you will be thrown into jails, you will not be allowed to offer press, So, doesn't the Congress find itself in a sticky wicket by allying with the AIUDF as far as when they talk about the development agenda vis-a-vis the communal, the alleged communal agenda of the BJP?
See, we all have an expectation that the coalitions that are stitched also adhere to certain ideological moorings, also adhere to certain principles. But you will have to understand that in the actual play of politics, coalitions are basically fostered for meeting certain immediate political expediencies. Today, the BJP spokesperson is talking about the AIUDF being a communal party. But we'll also have to understand that the same BJP entered into an alliance with the PDP in Jammu and Kashmir, and the PDP also has a very blatant communal record. But again, in Jammu and Kashmir's political context, the BJP saw a certain political objective, a certain expediency to basically align with such a communal party. The same is the case out here in Assam. See, there are around 30 seats where the Muslims play a dominant role. What they are targeting is that they believe, like the Congress spokesperson has said, that if they can prevent a split between a split in the Muslim vote through such an alliance, then as it is they are getting 30 seats. Now, how are they trying to counter the kind of allegations that the BJP would naturally put? This is what, for that I think they are trying to also simultaneously reach out to the regional parties, the so-called Assamese nationalist parties, in order to downplay the allegations of communalism that the BJP is sure to level. But now the point is, to what extent would the electorate believe either parties?
So, you are trying to imply the Mahagathbandhan is probably a cushion, a shield, an excuse. All they wanted is to tie up with the AIUDF. Yes, everyone is welcome, they say, but of course they know it is the AIUDF they want to tie up with. Gaurav Somani, you want to make a response? Yeah, Gaurav Somani.
Yeah, my colleague in the BJP, I thought he has just mistaken and he thought that it is a political program and he can carry away with all these political speeches, etc. political speeches. But anyway, coming to the point, I would say, what does he have to say about the Mufti? As already Mr. Barbora had said, forming the government with Mufti in Kashmir. Was that not communal or was that secular? Number one. Number two, they said Badruddin Ajmal. What do have they say that when they went on with an alliance, for an alliance with AID of Badruddin Ajmal for taking Mr. Hussain to the Rajya Sabha? What he have to say on that? Wasn't that an alliance with Badruddin Ajmal? Wasn't there secularism heated at that moment of time? How could you enter an alliance with BJP just to get a seat in Rajya Sabha? That was a call. When
so are you saying fine? Are you saying fine? The BJP did it. We will also compromise with the ideology. Since it is a number game, we are okay with it.
No. I am not saying that. I am saying clearly, and that is my stand, that we are forming a non-BJP alliance. I am saying that since he has been pointing out certain parties' alliance with the Congress party and he has objections to that, I just want to make him remind that it is your party who was initiated alliance with such parties and you have been doing it earlier. It is only the thing that it was for the past, you got it, now you don't want to do it because it doesn't suit your political situation. So it is the double face of the BJP. They are used to all these things. Now coming up to the development agenda and all those things, it was a mere shame for the entire state of Assam when a Facebook authority said that one of the powerful minister of the BJP uploaded a fake video of Pakistan Zindabad. This is the secularism and this is the type of communal harmony you want to establish.
And that was put back again. That was put back again. If you
you may create. So why you have not made any arrest? If it was such a genuine video, why didn't you make any arrest?
Please update him.
Why are you not able to arrest the culprits? So this is the farce agenda you want to make. You want to eyewash. You want to make people and make people into a dilemma that the entire political system runs around the communal agenda. You want to communalize the entire people of Assam. You do not have any development agenda. And that is why you have opted to all such tactics. Whether it is Shankardev Kalakshetra you can take it Lungiwala comment you want to take Mia Museum, you can take any reference. But the point of agenda for us will be
all issues raised by your MLA,
your
leaders.
We will have to take
all issues raised by your leaders.
We will take it forward. We will take it
forward. We have not raised this issue.
We will take it forward. We will take it forward. We'll take a very, very short break here. Please stay on. A very short break here. Welcome back. You're watching Bottom Line. We're discussing the Assam Assembly polls. If I can go back to Gaurav Somani of the Congress. Gaurav Somani, it's all good that you are attacking the BJP for allegedly having a communal agenda. But do you think will the Congress be able to rein in the AIUDF in the long run? Because the AIUDF also doesn't have a very good track record when it comes to alleged communal agenda. In fact, the party chief, Badruddin Ajmal, the kind of statements that he has made in the recent weeks. If the BJP comes to power, this will happen to people from the minority community. Let's face it, Gaurav Somani, the BJP has been in power in this country since 2014, and it's called a rampant, shameless bid to polarize. Let's face it. That is what the AIUDF is also doing. I'm not saying that other parties are not trying to do that. But what I'm saying, since you are taking a stand, a holier than thou stand against the so-called communal agenda, will the Congress be able to rein in the AIUDF in the long run?
See, first of all, I would say that we have not entered, or it has been not finalized yet that we are going into an alliance. Number one.
Point taken.
Because before we go into an alliance, there are certain modalities we need to finalize. There is a common minimum program, we have to work upon that. And the central leadership at an appropriate time will take a final call on the alliance. So this is what I have to say. If we go into an alliance with any non-BJP force, definitely there will be a common minimum program. There will be certain modalities. There will be certain rules and regulations which will suit all the political parties, whosoever is going into an alliance. So I think I have answered your query on what Ajmal's agenda is all about. It may be his agenda, but Congress will enter into an alliance with a common minimum program, which will suit all the political party, which in consultation and taking in view of the entire people of Assam, which should be agenda which suits the people of Assam rather than suiting any political party. Number one. Number two, since my BJP counterpart is here in the studio, I would ask him, why don't you present a white paper on what you have done on the last 4.5 years instead of going on all these agendas of communal harmony and breaking the communal harmony in the state? Why don't you come up with a white paper on what you have done on the last 4.5 years? Why don't you come up that how many investments you have brought into the Assam? Why don't you come up with the employment index presently in Assam? Why don't you come up with the development and the growth agendas in Assam? Why don't you come up with fresh investments and the advantage Assam the results in the state of Assam? What you have done is a mere shame for the entire state of Assam, that you had promised a lot of things before coming to elections, and the time has come when you need to reply to the people of Assam. Instead of doing that, you're shying away with things. You are shying away with things and finding a reason here and there and coming up with all
Pramod Swami, come in.
tricks of communal agendas. So this is a time where the BJP government and its spokesperson should enter the studio with white paper in their hand, that what they have promised and what they have delivered to the people of Assam in the last 4.5 years, rather than pointing a finger on the previous governments, what they did, what they have done here and there. I think that doesn't make any sense. Now we have to come up with a complete agenda in our hand, and before going to the polls, before going to the public.
Pramod Swami, कहीं ना कहीं अगर देखा जाए तो बीजेपी जो हर बार अटैक कर रही है कांग्रेस को फॉर इट्स प्रपोज्ड अलायंस विद द AIUDF, कहीं ना कहीं क्या बीजेपी को भी इस बात का डर है कि अगर जो गठबंधन है कांग्रेस AIUDF का, अगर इट क्लिक्स, अगर ये एक साथ लड़ते तो कहीं ना कहीं ये मुश्किल हो सकता है मामला? एंड ऑफ कोर्स जो क्वेश्चंस अभी पुट किए हैं कांग्रेस स्पोक्सपर्सन ने ऑन द पार्टीज परफॉर्मेंस इन द स्टेट इन द लास्ट 4.5 years.
नहीं, मैं आपकी उस बात का जवाब देता हूँ. उसके पहले मैं एक दो बात बताता हूँ. आज आपकी सरकार 50-60 साल असम में रही आपने इरोजन की समस्या को नेचुरल कैलेमिटी के रूप में आपने स्वीकृति क्यों नहीं दी? 15 फाइनेंस कमीशन में हमने तो इसको स्वीकृत कराया है। दूसरी बात, जो गरीब तबके का लोग था, आप सिर्फ एसी रूम में बैठ करके आपने राजनीति की है। गरीब तबके के 1.5 करोड़ लोगों के आसाम में जनधन अकाउंट खोले, आपको शायद इसकी जानकारी नहीं है, मैं आपको जानकारी दे देता हूँ। और एक गरीब आदमी के लिए एक बैंक अकाउंट का कितना महत्व होता है, ये भी आपको समझने की आवश्यकता है। आप गुड गवर्नेंस की सिर्फ बात कहते रह गए, आपकी नीति ठीक थी लेकिन नीयत गड़बड़ थी, इसलिए आपने क्या हुआ, डीबीटी आप लेके नहीं आए, हम डीबीटी लेके आए, आप गरीब आदमी के घर में डायरेक्ट पैसा जा रहा है। दूसरी बात, आसाम में 11,500 किलोमीटर सड़कों का निर्माण हुआ है प्रधानमंत्री सड़क योजना के तहत। 2014 से 2019 के बीच में 32 लाख टॉयलेट आसाम में ही बनाए गए हैं, आपकी जानकारी के लिए। 70 लाख परिवारों को बिजली दी गई है, आसाम में ही दी गई है। तो डेवलपमेंट की लंबी चौड़ी लिस्ट है, उसके ऊपर में किसी दिन और फुर्सत से हम आपके साथ में बहस करेंगे। अब दूसरी बात आपने जो कही कि कम्युनल एजेंडा की, कम्युनल एजेंडे के ऊपर में कोई भी एक राजनीतिक दल बहुत दिन तक राजनीति नहीं कर सकता है। आज पूरे भारतवर्ष में अगर बीजेपी की मैक्सिमम स्टेटों में सरकार है तो सिर्फ कम्युनल एजेंडे के बल पे वो सरकार नहीं बन सकती। दूसरी बात, बोरबोरा जी ने बहुत अच्छी बात कही कि गैर कांग्रेसी सरकार सिर्फ 3 बार आसाम में आई और चूंकि उनका परफॉर्मेंस अच्छा नहीं था या उनमें कोई भी कमी थी, बाद में वो रिपीट नहीं कर पाए। और मैं यही कहना चाहता हूं कि केंद्र में भी इसी तरह जो गैर कांग्रेसी सरकार थी वो रिपीट नहीं कर पाई। 2014 से 2019 में हमने सरकार चलाई, आपने क्या किया, राफेल चलाते रह गए आपके नेता, चौकीदार है चोर चोर बोलते रह गए। और कहा, और आप जैसे एक्सपर्ट लोग टीवी चैनल में बैठ के बोलते थे कि नहीं इस बार इनकी सीटों की संख्या घट जाएगी। जनता ने क्या जनादेश दिया, 2019 के चुनाव में जनता ने हमें और ज्यादा सीटें दी। और आप जो हल्ला कर रहे थे चौकीदार चोर है, जनता ने तो फैसला कर दिया। अब राफेल की कितनी ज्यादा आवश्यकता है, ये आज जो राष्ट्र प्रेमी लोग हैं वो इस बात को समझ रहे हैं। नहीं, और दूसरी बात, मैं 1 मिनट के लिए, अभी बराक ओबामा साहब ने अपनी किताब में इस बात का जिक्र किया है, इस बात का भी जरा सोमानी साहब जवाब दे दे कि मनमोहन सिंह ने जब बंबई में जब हमला हुआ था तो मनमोहन सिंह की नियत ही नहीं थी पाकिस्तान को जवाब देने की। हमने तो उरी के बाद में जवाब दिया, हमने तो पुलवामा के बाद में जवाब दिया। आपको क्या हो गया था, आप आतंकवाद के विरुद्ध सशक्त कार्रवाई आपकी सरकार क्यों नहीं कर पाई? अब ये तो इंटरनेशनल मंच पर ये सवाल उठने लगे। अब आप बोल दीजिए बराक ओबामा भी आरएसएस के स्टूडेंट हैं, आप बोल दीजिए चैनल में बैठकर।
लेट्स कीप द डिस्कशन रिस्ट्रिक्टेड टू आसाम।
नहीं, उन्होंने बोला है ना, ये बात तो बोला, बराक ओबामा तो इंटरनेशनल लीडर,
लेट्स कीप इट,
ये पुट अप हिज व्यूज ना ओपनली।
लेट्स कीप इट टू आसाम, लेट्स कीप इट टू आसाम।
पार्टी शुड रिस्पोंड अबाउट इट ना।
कर देता हूं, चलिए मैं इनको इनकी भाषा में रिवर्ट कर देता हूँ। बराक ओबामा ने जो लिखा है, आपने उसमें शायद पूरी ठीक से नहीं पढ़ा। बराक ओबामा ने क्या लिखा, बीजेपी के लिए आपने पढ़ा था क्या? आपको ज्ञात है? जब आप बता रहे हो,
मैं पढ़ा इसीलिए बोल रहा हूँ, आप जवाब दीजिए ना। मेरे से प्रश्न करने के बाद आप पर्टिकुलर जवाब दीजिए। आपकी यही आदत गंदी, आप सब्जेक्ट को ट्विस्ट करते हैं, उत्तर नहीं आपके पास।
लेट हिम कंप्लीट।
अब सुन लीजिए, हम भी शांति से सुन रहे थे, आप भी शांति से सुनिए।
आप बोलिए।
बीजेपी के लिए जो बराक ओबामा ने लिखा कि एंटायर बीजेपी पॉलिटिक्स इज ऑन कम्युनल डिवाइसिव, पूरे नेशनलिज्म डिवाइस पर रख दिया है।
बॉम्बे अटैक का जवाब मांग रहा हूं तो आप कम्युनल में चले गए। कम्युनल में तो 1 घंटा बहस कर लीजिएगा मेरे से, कर लूंगा मैं आपसे।
अरे सुनिए,
उसका जवाब दीजिए ना कि बम्बई अटैक के बाद में पाकिस्तान को जवाब क्यों नहीं दिया, इस बात का उत्तर दीजिए।
प्रमोद स्वामी,
Anapum, he has to be a bit patient.
Pramod Swami, I come back to my question here, Pramod Swami. मेरा जो सवाल था आपसे, मेरा जो सवाल था आपसे प्रमोद स्वामी, मेरा जो सवाल था आपसे, is the BJP in Assam somewhere scared of the alliance? क्या डर रहा है कहीं ना कहीं बीजेपी of the alliance between the Congress and the LDF?
इसके पहले भी गौरव भाई ने इस बात को कहा कि इनके साथ भी अलायंस था। हम बदरुद्दीन के साथ में किसी भी चुनाव में अलायंस करके नहीं उतरे हैं, आप उतरे हैं। आप बोले, मैं नहीं बोला, आप जवाब दीजिएगा। एक बार ऐसा राज्यसभा में हुआ जब एक पर्टिकुलर कैंडिडेट थे हैदर हुसैन साहब, उनको बीजेपी ने भी समर्थन किया, उनको एडीएफ ने भी किया और उनको एजीपी ने भी किया था। लेकिन चुनाव में गठबंधन कर करके जनता से जनादेश लेना और एक कॉमन कैंडिडेट को सपोर्ट करने में अंतर है। आपने 2019 के चुनाव में के साथ अंडरस्टैंडिंग करके लड़ा, आपको डर लग गया, आप ओपन अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं कर पाए। लेकिन अब आप खुली आपने अंडरस्टैंडिंग करके आपने चुनाव लड़ने का निर्णय शायद ले लिया, या आप कह रहे हैं कि नहीं लिया, तो ले लिया तो वेलकम। हमें आपने जो प्रश्न किया कि हमें डर नहीं है, हम तो इनको एक्सपोज कर रहे हैं और ये खुद एक्सपोज हो रहे हैं। हम तो चाह रहे हैं कि ये वैचारिक लड़ाई हो जाए एक बार ये वैचारिक लड़ाई हो जाए आसाम में।
Abhinav Barbara, I want Abhinav Barbara to come in here. Do you think in the current state of affairs, the Congress is talking about development as its agenda, the BJP is talking about development as its agenda, but do you think development is clearly taking a back seat?
See, the kind of narrative that an election would take would depend on the ruling party as well as the opposition.
Absolutely.
Today, if we look into the case of Bihar, Tejaswi Yadav might have lost the election, but one of the places where I think he, the credit is due to him, is that by talking about jobs, he basically molded the agenda of the election and steered it away from a very communal or a polarizing issues. He basically was talking on material terms, and as a result of that, the BJP was also forced to debate with him on material terms. One party was talking about 10 lakh jobs, the other party came and talked about 19 lakh jobs. So, I think the kind of agenda that would take place, that would be the center stage of the 2021 elections, I think both the parties would be responsible for stitching or for developing the agenda. Now, the point about the AIUDF, I think the stigma that is associated with the AIUDF is a product of a fear psychosis that has developed over the years.
And it is also living up to it, the party, if you see the kind of statements that the leaders are making.
But at the same time, similar kind of statements are also heard from BJP leaders across the country. The point is that these kind of alliances will have to be seen from a tactical perspective. There is no kind of ideology attached to it, and if we actually have to dig for ideology, I think, like I have already stated in my opening comment, the BJP would also find itself falling short of such principles because of the kind of alliances that it had made in Jammu or in other cases. The point that we will have to understand is that it is trying to target 30 seats, and now the challenge for the BJP is whether it can create a counter consolidation of Hindus in the remaining 35 seats, which are Assamese dominated seats. Now, the Congress, if it is successful in creating a narrative on development, on issues of governance, like the Congress spokesperson has been saying, probably it would be able to offset the kind of counter consolidation, a Hindu consolidation that the BJP would try to create. But the point is that if we look into election results, already a kind of counter consolidation of the Hindus was taking place even in the 2019 election. The moment when it became clear that the Congress was contesting with an understanding with the AIUDF, from the second phase of the 2019 election, you see a kind of a counter consolidation building in constituencies where there was a Hindu majority. I will just give you one example. The Nalbari assembly segment, if you follow electoral trends in the constituency, that constituency for a long time had always given a lead to the BJP, but amongst all the assembly segments in that parliamentary constituency, Nalbari would record the lowest voter turnout. That was also the time, this time, when Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma started asking people of a particular community to come out in larger numbers in order to defeat some kind of a conspiracy. Now, you go back and look at the kind of turnout that we saw in Nalbari, you see that for the first time, a constituency that has been consistently giving a lead to the BJP registers the highest ever turnout. Even in constituencies in Upper Assam like Tingkhong, Shodhia, which are considered to be constituencies where these Assamese nationalist parties would make their ground, you see that even these constituencies voted overwhelmingly in favor of the BJP. At a time which I would like to repeat, at a time when the car protests were at its peak.
Yeah.
So, what I am trying to signify is that there is a certain risk that is involved. If the Congress can avert that risk by talking about a development agenda like the Congress spokesperson is doing, and is capable of basically steering the election into through a narrative of development, it might be able to stop a counterpolarization.
So will that be the Congress's agenda, Gaurav Somani? Probably let the AIUDF brand of politics be in play in 25 to 30 seats, and the Congress will play the development brand of politics in the rest of the seats.
See, I would say very specifically and categorically that I don't know whether the BJP is coming with a white paper, but Congress party is going to come with a white paper. And what we promised in the last 15 years, what we delivered, and what the BJP last government sitting in the power has been doing in the last 4.5 years. We will come with the white paper and we'll show what we have done in the last 15 years. At the situation, at this juncture, even if a child is born in Assam, he comes up with a liability of rupees 23,000 per head. Can you imagine this? This is their agenda, सबका साथ सबका विकास. आप तो पूरे के पूरे असम को नर्क में ढकेल रहे हो. आप पूरे के पूरे असम को लायबिलिटी में ढकेल रहे हो. आप पूरे के पूरे असम को कर्ज के बोझ में ढकेल रहे हो और आप बातें बड़ी बड़ी करते हो. सबका साथ सबका विकास. आप कहते हो कि जीरो टॉलरेंस ऑफ करप्शन, जाति माती बेटी इतला कथा को इतला आही से अपनी सरकार बना दे. आप ये चीज बताइए कि what is zero tolerance of corruption? You know, the corruption is at the highest level in the country, in the state of Assam, in the context of, if you compare it in the index of the state of every state, it is in the highest.
The BJP calls it a Congress legacy. The BJP calls it a Congress legacy.
Number three. I'll complete. I'll just take just a minute. You know the syndicate Raj right now going on. These RSS people, these BJP people. We as a Hindu, I as a pure Hindu consider cow as my god. I consider Gau Mata as my Bhagwan. They have been indulged into the syndicate of these cows. You know, they have been indulged into the syndicate of coal. You know, they have been indulged into the syndicate of fish, vegetables, coal, everything. You take a supari, anything. So there has been a total corruption, mismanagement, entire administration is collapsed. And there are so many power centers. See, even the BJP spokesperson, when he addresses, he cannot say the chief minister or the party leadership. He has to say other powerful minister's name also, because he knows if he doesn't say it, his numbers cut jayenge. It will be a problem for him. So these are the things which they.
That is because the BJP would say that is because it's no dynasty ruling the BJP. This will be the argument.
They do not have any development agenda. This entire government is immersed into the corruption, full of burden, and it is up to the people of Assam to decide what they have to do. But Congress is for sure going with a white paper, what we did in last 15 years, and what we promised and what we intend to deliver in the next 5 years. We will go with white paper, and we have full faith in the people of Assam.
But you still haven't answered my question. My question was, so do you allow the AIUDF to play the communal brand of politics in the constituencies that suit you, and play the development brand of politics where it suits you again?
Yes, so number one, I told you that we are not in a very stage that I would comment that we are forming an alliance with AIUDF or a non-BJP alliance. Yes, if we go on an alliance with AIUDF or it may be any other party, we will have our own modalities set. Congress will play as a bigger brother role. It will be the Congress party who has to decide what has to be done for the party in consultation with other alliance parties. And number two, we will finalize the common minimum program and will make sure that the entire structure works with that common minimum program, considering the views of the people of Assam.
Pramod Swami wants to come in very quickly.
आज मुझे बड़ी हंसी आ रही है और एक शेर याद आ रहा है मुझे, जिनके अपने घर शीशे, आप बोलने दीजिए, मैं बोल रहा हूँ, बोल लीजिए आप। जिनके अपने घर शीशे के होते हैं वे दूसरों के घरों पे पत्थर नहीं मारा करते।
ऐसे पुराने हो गए।
सुन लीजिए ना बाबा,
कुछ नया बताइए।
आज सुन लीजिए। अच्छा, अब मैं बता रहा हूँ, इनके अपने नेता जो है राहुल और सोनिया जी 5,000, मैं बता, आप बीच में मत बोलिए प्लीज, आप बोले, मैं कुछ नहीं बोला। इतनी भद्रता आप रखिए, आप इतनी भद्रता रखिए, आप सुन लीजिए, सुनने की शक्ति रखिए। अच्छा वक्ता वही होता है जो अच्छा श्रोता होता है। सुन लीजिए, आपके नेता 5,000 करोड़ के नेशनल हेराल्ड स्कैम में बेल पर है, आपके नेता बेल में 5,000 करोड़ का जो नेशनल हेराल्ड का जो स्कैम है उसमें सोनिया गांधी और राहुल गांधी दोनों बेल में है। अच्छा सुन लीजिए, उसके बाद में मेरे पास पूरी लिस्ट है ए से जेड तक। इतना टाइम मेरे को नहीं देंगे, फिर भी मैं ए फॉर आदर्श स्कीम, बी फॉर पोपर, सी फॉर CWG स्कीम, डी फॉर देवास एंटी
स्कीम,
मेरे पास
फॉर
भी
एम्प्लॉय
A से Z
गारंटी
तक सब
स्कीम,
कुछ बोलने के
एयरपोर्ट
लिए है।
होटल
प्रमोद स्वामी,
स्कीम, तो पूरी
प्रमोद स्वामी,
जेड तक की लिस्ट
प्रमोद
है।
स्वामी,
तो
गौरव
आपसे मुझसे
सैनी,
भ्रष्टाचार की बात शुभा नहीं
प्रमोद-
होगी, आपके मुझसे
प्रमोद
भ्रष्टाचार
स्वामी,
की बात
गौरव
शुभा नहीं
सैनी,
होगी।
well,
दूसरी बात,
well,
APSC में स्कैम हुआ था, सारे आसाम में आंदोलन हुए, आपकी हिम्मत नहीं हुई कि आप उस चेयरमैन को बर्खास्त कर पाते।
This is-
हमारी सरकार आई, हमने उनको जेल में भेजा,
This is-
हमने जेल में भेजा।
प्रमोद स्वामी,
करप्शन के ऊपर में हमारी जो नीति है वो जीरो टॉलरेंस की नीति है। और माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी सर्बानंद सोनोवाल जी ने पेपर लीक की घटना जब उनको पता चली, 5 मिनट के अंदर में उन्होंने इंक्वायरी दे दी, और आज बड़े से बड़े जो पुलिस के अधिकारी भी है वो भी आज जेल की हवा खा रहे हैं। और तो इसलिए करप्शन के बारे में बोलने का नैतिक अधिकार कांग्रेस पार्टी को नहीं है। अब दूसरी बात, हाँ,
Pramod Swami, Gaurav Samani, well, this can continue, we know. I mean, in Indian politics, this can go
Come to
on
the
and
agenda.
on and on. And both the Congress and the BJP will have its list. Somebody will have a bigger list, somebody
और
will have a
आपकी
bit
जानकारी
smaller.
के लिए एक
But then,
आपने एडवांटेज आसाम की बात
Actually,
बताई,
advantage
तो मैं
आसाम
बता रहा हूँ कि
आपके लिए पूरा
65,000
business
करोड़
बन
का
गया है।
इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑलरेडी आ चुका है एडवांटेज
हाँ,
आसाम
वो public
से।
sector-
आपने तो इस तरह का
public
कार्यक्रम
sector
तक
को
नहीं
छोड़
किया,
दीजिए।
आपकी
Oil
सोच
sector,
ही नहीं
government
थी।
का investment को छोड़
हमने
दीजिए,
तो
private
पूरे
talk about private
विश्व
investment।
से और पूरे भारत भर से उद्योगपतियों को
Talk
बुला
about
करके
private
उनको
investment in
आकर्षित
Assam।
करने के लिए कार्यक्रम तो किया, आपकी तो सोच ही नहीं थी, आपने कार्यक्रम किया ही नहीं। और 65,000 करोड़ का इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑलरेडी आसाम में आ चुका है, आपकी जानकारी के लिए मैं बता
देखिए,
देता हूं।
आपका कार्यक्रम और करप्शन दोनों साथ साथ चलता रहा। आप कार्यक्रम किए ताकि आप करप्शन कर सके, और देश की और असम की जनता
अरे
ने आपका
आपके नेता
कार्यक्रम
तरुण
भी देखा,
गोगोई ने तो
corruption भी
खुद ही
देखा।
कहा कि हाँ हमारे समय में
इस बारे
करप्शन हुआ था, उन्होंने तो उसको एक्सेप्ट कर लिया। आपके नेता ने तो एक्सेप्ट कर लिया था। आप किसको से करप्शन की बात करते हैं? ऐसे
प्रमोद
जर्नलिस्ट
स्वामी,
मेरे पास
प्रमोद
बैठे हैं।
स्वामी,
मुझे टाइम
प्रमोद
दे तो
स्वामी,
जेड तक का गिनवा दूंगा
प्रमोद
आपका।
स्वामी,
कांग्रेस
प्रमोद
सरकार
स्वामी,
आएगी तो वो आपके करप्शन को बोरिया बिस्तर में बांध के आपको ले जाएगी।
प्रमोद
आप
स्वामी,
अपने
वो तो
कार्यक्रम को
जनता
बोरिया
तय
बिस्तर में
करेगी।
बांध दें
Hang
और
on,
जनता
जनता
hang
तय
on,
करेगी।
hang on,
आप
hang on.
आपको 44 से
Hang on.
52 तक ही आए ना, 14
Hang
में
on,
44
hang on,
में थे, अब
hang
52
on,
में आए,
hang on.
उससे ऊपर तो नहीं जा पाए
प्रमोद
ना।
स्वामी,
ये
प्रमोद
जनता तय
स्वामी,
करेगी, जनता
प्रमोद
की अदालत
स्वामी,
में
hang
तय
on.
होगा,
Abhinav
फिर भी स्टूडियो में तय नहीं
Borbora,
होगा।
Abhinav Borbora, is it going to be again one of those election campaigns with a lot of noise and things going nowhere? End of the day, polarization takes center stage and rhetoric takes center stage.
See, I think one of the things that we'll have to appreciate about
Because the last campaign has been a bit
Yes.
different. Narendra Modi rode to power on development politics, mind you, not on communal politics. Let's face it.
You're talking about noise, right? So let me base it on that aspect. See, one of the things that is appreciable about the Congress spokesperson today is that from the very beginning, his approach to the debate was to push the BJP on the issues of governance and development. As a result of that, even the BJP is forced to talk and stick to questions of development and defend its development and governance record. What I am trying to say is that this is a template that the opposition needs to use. This is a template that was used even in Bihar. And if you need to actually steer clear of BJP's polarizing tactics, this is the template that you need to follow. But let me go further now. The Congress, whatever it is saying, many of these issues are actually valid. There are governance questions, and as an opposition party, it is important that it raises such governance questions, and I think the ruling party would also appreciate such a kind of opposition.
चैनल चेंज कर दिया क्या?
Such a kind of an opposition. But one thing we'll have to understand that in politics, your performance is determined not only by raising the right kind of issues. A lot depends on your ability to understand the vibe. A lot would depend on your ability to manage the political situation. Now, let's take the example of the BJP's approach in BPF. Today, if you see, even the UPPL is willing to has some kind of a cordial relationship with the BJP, while although Hagrama has been daily complaining a lot about the BJP leadership, has still not actually pulled out of the alliance.
Absolutely.
Now, coming to the Congress, I think what needs to change is not their approach on the way they are taking up issues of government, but the way they handle the political management. For example, many of the existing cultural practices need to change. For example, this practice of giving tickets to people who have no competence to win a constituency. since I have been talking about every other subject with examples, let me also use an example out here. We are sitting in a place that is the East Guwahati constituency. In East Guwahati in 2016, a particular candidate was nominated. The lady loses by close to 1 lakh votes. In fact, the vote margin of the BJP candidate in 2016 was even greater than the vote margin of the BJP candidate in Jalukbari, that is Dr. Horma. Now, that same lady is nominated for the Lok Sabha elections from the Guwahati constituency, who already lost by 90,000 votes. Now, this time she loses by 3,80,000 votes at a time when even the AIUDF did not put a candidate. Just pause. Now, even to get the ticket, to at least apply for a ticket, the Congress application form costs you around 50,000 rupees non-refundable.
Yeah.
Now, these kind of cultural practices
I'm
are
sure,
not
I'm
actually
sure the party,
conducive.
I'm sure the party is doing its own homework. Maybe they need to do a
This
better
is,
homework.
and I think if this is a homework, I think they are extremely casual about the kind of homework that they are doing. So, like I said, I'm quite appreciative of the way the Congress spokesperson is handling the issues of development.
But do you think,
but the political management is failing.
Do you think we are running out of time? Gaurav Somani, do you think? Well, we are talking about Northeast, we are talking about Assam, but do you think the Congress's performance in Bihar may come back to haunt it in Assam? It's no comparison at all, but still, the Congress, at best, the performance can be said poor in Bihar. A lot was expected, and many are saying it's the Congress which led to the downfall of the RJD. Do you think that baggage, you have to live with that baggage for at least the next couple of months, and it will take quite some effort to shed off that baggage?
See, Bihar elections, lot many other aspects have been taken into account, because it was not because of the Congress party the entire debacle of these things had happened. But I must tell you, it was a neck-to-neck contest in Bihar. Though Nitish Kumar is forming the government, he's taken the oath. That's okay, but wait for another 6 months. Things is going to change around. And it was a neck-to-neck elections. There are many things. There are political, population pattern, demographic pattern, development agendas, and lot many things, in Bihar. So it is not because of one political party who doesn't perform. You can blame the entire shift the blame entirely on them. But I still feel Bihar elections had many aspects, and it was a neck-to-neck fight. Congress has contributed its own share. And let's see how it goes, because Bihar, again I say, within next to 6 months.
What I was trying to say is that the narrative is that people have lost confidence, faith in the Congress across the country. Probably Assam is no exception. That's the narrative that you have to change.
How do you think, how could have we forming the government in Rajasthan? We formed the government in Madhya Pradesh. We formed the government in Manipur. We formed the government in Goa. This is the agenda. BJP is master, in horse trading and sale and buy, because they know by hook and crook they need to form the government, and they'll do it anyways. Even Bihar elections had many things to which was exposed, but again those things could not be cannot be a matter of discussion as of now today. But still, I feel.
But we hope. I'm sorry, Gaurav, so many have to cut you short. We hope development does take a center stage. Last words, Pramod Swami, 30 seconds, very quickly. Parting remarks.
मैं यही बोलना चाहूँगा कि लोग कितनी भी बात कर ले, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली जनता जो है विकास के मुद्दे पर ही वोट देगी, गुड गवर्नेंस के मुद्दे पर ही वोट देगी, नीति के ऊपर वोट देगी, नेतृत्व के ऊपर वोट देगी। और आसाम में जो हमारे पास जो एक शक्तिशाली टीम है, माननीय मुख्यमंत्री श्री सर्बानंद सोनोवाल, माननीय मंत्री श्री हेमंत बिश्व शर्मा जी और हमारे अध्यक्ष श्री रंजीत कुमार दास जी के नेतृत्व में वो, और दिल्ली में हमारे पास जो टीम है माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री सर्बानंद सोनोवाल, अमित शाह जी और जेपी नड्डा जी,
बीजेपी डेवलपमेंट
एजेंडा है, लेकिन नेतृत्व भी चाहिए। आसाम में क्या आज बीजेपी कांग्रेस के पास नेतृत्व नहीं है। आज
नहीं, आप कांग्रेस की बात छोड़िए, क्या बीजेपी डेवलपमेंट के ऊपर खेलेगी आसाम में?
हम तो डेवलपमेंट के ही खेलेंगे, लेकिन अगर वो कोई कमेंट करेंगे तो हम तो रेस्पॉन्ड तो करेंगे ना। अब एक राजनीतिक दल तो रेस्पॉन्ड करेगा, हम तो घर में नहीं बैठ जाएंगे ना।
Let's hope, like Bihar, development takes the center stage in Assam too. It was a great discussion. Thank you so much, gentlemen. That's a wrap of Bottom Line. Thank you so much, Gaurav Somani, Pramod Swami, Abhinav Borbora.
Thank you.
That's a wrap.